Welcome everyone to this year of Organization Design Webinar Wednesday event. Today we'll be chatting about employee optimization and building a workforce that can deliver on your strategy. And we thank those of you from Trinidad and Tobago, the wider Caribbean region, and further afield such as the United States who are joining us today. We are very pleased to have you with us. I'm your host, Taryn Hodges, and my co-host, Estrella Hernandez, will be chatting with you all via the chat box. Webinar Wednesday is brought to you by Lockjack GSB Consulting Services. Lockjack GSB Consulting Services offer a range of services, and through our webinars, we seek to bring you insight on the best practices for developing your organization, as well as provide critical knowledge for one's professional development. Some of the services we offer that are related to our theme of organization design and today's topic are in bold on the screen in front of you. To find out more about Lockjack GSB Consulting, visit our website using the link that we just dropped into the chat box. Estrella Hernandez will be dropping the links into the chat box to you, and she's your co-host for today. We are celebrating the year of organization design, and apart from our webinars, we have a conference and executive certificate program taking place this September, both being conducted by our international feature speaker, Andrew Campbell. Andrew spoke at our Webinar Wednesday launch event on February 20th, and he said, a well-designed organization is an organization where you have capable people, capable for the role you have given them. We are really looking forward to having Andrew join us in Trinidad and sharing his vast knowledge and expertise. Andrew is a Harvard graduate, but he's also the program director for the Health Business School Advanced Organization Design Program. Andrew is also a strategy expert, and thus he will be linking the discussions in org design to its impact on strategy and realizing your strategic goals. Apart from his academic achievements, Andrew is also an author and consultant with notable experience. So don't miss this opportunity. Register now for the upcoming conference and certificate program and benefit from our discount prices. Estrella will be sharing with you a link to our organization design brochure, which will provide more information about these upcoming events. So just click on the link that would be in your chat box. In terms of our upcoming year of organization design webinars, we have many more exciting topics coming up over the next few months. Next month, we would continue looking at strategically aligning the people in your organization via continuous performance management. We will also have our spotlight on executive education happening on April 24th with a mini session on supply chain management. So if you are not already on our Webinar Wednesdays mailing list, sign up today. The link is being posted in our chat box as we speak. We have a couple more house announcements of upcoming events. Then we'll go straight into our webinar presentation. During our Q&A, we will seek to answer your questions, as many as we can. Please use the Q&A button to post your questions, and Estrella would bring them to our attention. If you are unable to address your concerns during the session, please feel free to contact Lockjack GSB Consulting, and we'll be happy to arrange a free initial consultation with you. We have a few HR certificate programs to strengthen your talent management skills that are upcoming. Some of these programs, such as assessor skills, are also excellent for developing the performance management and coaching skills of the supervisors and team leads in your organization. Find out more on our website via the link we are now dropping in the chat box. Our Distinguished Leadership and Innovation Conference, DLIC, is taking place on May 6th, 2019, so register now. This year, we are hosting 2 award-winning and globally recognized leading authorities in corporate entrepreneurship, as we teach senior leaders how to employ corporate entrepreneurship as a tool for securing a competitive advantage and a future for their organizations. Josh Linkner is a serial entrepreneur, best-selling author, and President Barack Obama's Champion of Change awardee. He was twice named Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year and is currently the #1 most booked speaker in the world. So we also have Professor Andrew Corbett. He hails from Babson College, which is the #1 ranked institution in entrepreneurship, and is also one of the top 25 researchers in entrepreneurship worldwide. This is truly an opportunity not to be missed. It's promised to be game-changing as you apply the learnings from the conference to your organizations. We do have a current promotion running with reduced pricing of US $800 for persons registering on or before Thursday, April 18th. So that is tomorrow. So if you register by tomorrow, you will be able to secure the reduced pricing of US $800. But you can still register subsequent to that. The regular price is $1,000. For more information, go to our website, dlictt.com, or contact our conferencing unit. Estrella will be dropping that contact information in the chat box. Now we move into our webinar presentation. Your feedback is extremely valuable to us and our speakers, and so hence we invite you to complete our feedback form at the link provided in the chat box. This link would have also been sent in your webinar invitation. Our speaker. I am now happy to present our speaker for today, Mrs. Dale Manzano-Wilson. Dale is an HR and organizational development consultant with a master's in human resource management with distinction from UWI Arthur Lockjack Global School of Business. So she's one of our distinguished alumni. She has over 20 years progressive experience in human resources, expertise in organization design and restructuring, talent management, industrial relations, career management, process improvement, and these are just a few of the areas she has expertise in and has gathered over the years. She has worked locally and regionally in industries such as transportation, small business financing, retail, and distribution. And she's also a facilitator and lecturer that is capable, that has developed capability over the last 8 years in areas such as leadership and human resource management. So we are very pleased to have with us Mrs. Dale Manzano-Wilson. Welcome, Dale.
Thank you, Taryn. And thank you to our participants for joining us today as we continue our discussion on organizational design, celebrating the Year of Organizational Design. And today we start with our discussion on employee optimization, building a workforce that can deliver on your strategy. Organizations seek to succeed in their various endeavors, and all organizations are not successful. We ask the question, why do organizations fail? They fail because they have differences in organizational capabilities. And as we remember from Andrew's discussion in our previous webinar, capability is a critical component of organizational success in driving your strategic objectives. Different capabilities arise from your strategic capability, your financial, your technical capabilities. But we want to focus on your capability in organizational design and how you are able to hone the various elements of organizational design to create a competitive advantage for your organization. When we looked at organizational design, we see that it's a combination of formal and informal organizational elements. A formal organization focuses on chain of command, span of control, teamwork, degree of autonomy. And the informal organization, which is as critical, looks at things such as employee behavior, interpersonal relationships, and workforce synergy. The issue of workforce synergy will become critical as we discuss organizational optimization, because we are looking to leverage organizational capability through your talent to deliver on your strategy. Whether you are utilizing McKinsey's 7S model or Galbraith's model, STAR model on organizational design, we note that there are two critical elements. The first, McKinsey 7S, focuses on the hard elements and the soft elements, and Galbraith's STAR model focuses on people, reward, as the soft elements, and strategy, structure, and processes as those hard elements. We are extracting for our discussion today the people practices within the organizational design model, and we're focusing on how we can develop those practices to ensure that your organization is competitive in your industry. Talent is your competitive advantage. This is the hypothesis that we are putting forward. Organizations are successful when they're able to build in two areas. Your human capital advantage is your ability to acquire, motivate, and retain quality talent that creates a competitive advantage for your organization. At our last webinar, we looked at the issue of process, and your human process advantage is your ability to utilize superior work processes that create a competitive advantage for the organization. Successful organizations integrate your human capital advantage with your human process advantage in order to deliver organizational optimization. How do we craft a human capital advantage? Well, it's important that we clarify our strategic intent. Is the organization focused on organic growth or diversification? Are we looking to grow through merger or acquisitions? Are we focused on internal efficiencies through re-engineering or process exploitation? Are we looking to consolidate the organization and reduce our operations, or are we looking to close the organization? The strategic intent informs all the other elements of your organizational design, and therefore it is important that we clarify what is our agenda in the marketplace. The second critical component of crafting a human capital advantage is talent capability. What are the required competencies for your organization? And can you objectively assess these competencies, both for today and in the future? And when we speak about competencies, we are not talking about the numbers or the head counts we focus on when we are looking at workforce optimization. But we're looking at capability, we're looking at skills, and more importantly, we're looking at mindsets. Do you possess the competencies that are required for future success within the organization? And where is your talent available? Is it available locally, regionally, or globally? Your talent capability is critical to crafting that competitive advantage for the organization. Next element would be talent engagement. It's important that we understand what we have, but more importantly, we must engage the capability that we have within the organization. The issue of employee turnover and employee engagement are two critical elements we want to focus on. Is your organization constantly acquiring talent, and what are the root causes for turnover in your organization? With respect to employee engagement, what is your current employee engagement level? Are you actively measuring employee engagement within the organization and implementing strategies to address these issues? What is your bench strength? Your ability to ensure that you have a pipeline of talent to grow within the organization and to move into leadership positions in the future? And what is your current investment in growing talent? So your employee capability is important, but your employee talent engagement is of critical importance. And finally, the issue of agility. Your human capital advantage is a function of your organization's agility. Are you an efficient and productive entity? Do you have an innovation culture within your organization? What is the degree of change orientation? And we look at change orientation in terms of your leadership capability and the ability of your leaders to change their strategic mindset, to change their orientation, to change your leadership style. Are your people adaptable? Can they change? Are your systems adaptable? Are your processes and the way that you work adaptable and can allow you to morph and respond to the external environment? And is your organizational structure adaptable? So what is the degree of change orientation? Are you operating within a bureaucratic, rigid environment? Are you in a flexible or agile environment? And I raise the issue of organizational ambidexterity. Your ability to grow through exploration and innovation, balanced with your focus on internal efficiency through process exploitation. And agility requires both elements. As the organization morphs and grows and innovates, it must also become more robust, more streamlined, and more efficient internally. So Are you an ambidextrous organization, or are you moving towards ambidexterity? So these are 4 elements that are critical to crafting our human capital advantage. And this is important as we look to optimize our workforce. So what is workforce optimization? Well, it's a business strategy which focuses on balancing customer satisfaction, service levels, workforce management, operational costs, and business analytics to drive optimal benefit for staff at any given time. And this is from Mattel.com. Workforce optimization began as a focus on improving the efficiency at call centers. And technology was integrated into the operations of organizations to improve workforce productivity. But since then, it has evolved and it has been morphed and expanded and transitioned into other industries such as manufacturing, retail, and banking. And for a long time, workforce optimization was regarded as technology. But it is not technology. It is more than technology. Like business process management or total quality management or any other business management system, it is a strategy that is used by the organization, and technology enables this strategy for the organization. So workforce optimization integrates people, processes, and technology to optimize your organizational performance and improve your customer delivery. It is a relational process through which the organizations continually improve and get the best returns from their workforce, or the optimal returns from their workforce. And it is working smarter and faster with the right resources in the right place at the right time, at the right cost, with the right supporting technology, providing the right data for decision making. So it's focused on workforce readiness, which is ensuring that you have the right resources in the right place at the right time. But it also has equal focus on technology and decision making. It aligns the organization with the strategy of the organization. So organizations seek to balance service delivery, efficiency, and productivity with the need for revenue generation, cost management, and profitability. And workforce optimization is a strategy that allows the organization to integrate its processes to deliver in this regard. At the core of workforce optimization is understanding how your employees work and how to best leverage their skills. And they are critical elements of workforce optimization. It starts with forecasting. Manpower planning and forecasting, as we will see as we discuss further, is the foundation of workforce optimization. Forecasting, scheduling, and monitoring of tasks and the required competencies of the organization. It involves decision-making, which is driven by analytics. So it does not focus on judgment or anecdotes, but decisions are driven by the analytical capability of the organization. And it evolves around continual assessment, development, and adaptation of your competencies within the organization. So what are the elements of workforce optimization? Strategic manpower planning, which is the foundation, talent acquisition and deployment, workforce development and engagement, workforce efficiency and effectiveness, and here we focus on the element of monitoring, measurement, and analytics. And the end goal of workforce optimization is workforce agility. Each element within the workforce optimization paradigm can be discussed in its own regard. But for the purposes of today, we want to focus on strategic manpower planning and workforce agility, the foundation and the end result of effective workforce optimization. Strategic manpower planning, why is this so important? Well, strategic manpower planning is that process by which organizations predict your future employment needs and the availability of your current employees and external hires to meet those needs, to execute your strategy. It is the foundation of your strategic staffing function, and it identifies and addresses the future challenges to workforce readiness. This is a framework for strategic workforce planning. And in this framework, we know that we are seeking to reconcile your current competencies, which we see within composition of structure and roles, with the future capability of the organization. The organization is responding to external pestle factors and seeking to achieve its strategy within the context of those environmental factors. And its strategy is achieved through its current capability. So the current composition of your organization tells you your ability to achieve that strategy. Your capacity is informed by the demand that the organization has for specific competencies and the supply of those competencies for the organization. And where we see misalignment, we seek to correct those gaps. But these competencies are not focused on your current composition. The focus needs to be on your future capability, and that is where our discussion focuses on today, and that is where workforce optimization becomes critical. Your future capability informs your future success, and it informs your future relevance within the market. So, to what extent do your current capabilities align with the future capability of the organization, or your current composition of your workforce align with the future capability or the future demands of your organization to satisfy your market needs? The job analysis technique is one that we utilize to distill and to answer these questions. The job analysis is the foundation for effective manpower plans, and it identifies the important aspects of a job and the characteristics that workers need to perform that job well. There are different strategies to complete your job analysis. And historically, persons would have utilized traditional job analysis techniques, such as critical incident techniques, job elements methods, structured interview techniques. But the focus of traditional job analyses is on the current competencies and the current capability of your organization. So you are seeking to assess your ability to respond based on your current capability. A future-oriented job analysis shifts your focus and emphasizes the importance of analyzing new jobs that are required for the organization to succeed, or current jobs and how those jobs will change in the future. So your future-oriented job analysis gives you a strategic perspective in analyzing your jobs and adapting your capability to your current composition. The next job analysis methodology is the competency modeling framework, where you utilize and examine the necessary worker competencies for high performance. Your competencies are linked to the organization's business values, strategy, goals, and customer value proposition. And the competency modeling job analysis technique allows you to identify those critical competencies that would lead to high performance today and high capability tomorrow. So we have our first poll question for our participants today, and we're asking, which method of job analysis does your organization currently use in its manpower planning exercise? You can select all that apply, traditional, future-oriented, or competency modeling, and give us a sense of what tools you're utilizing now and the extent to which this is providing the critical competencies you require for your organization. We're seeing some results coming in.
We're going to give you all just about 30 seconds or so, or 35 seconds to respond. So you can select all that apply, any one of the options that are applicable in your organization. Feel free to tick it off. All right, so we will end polling there. As the results show, we have 73%, the majority of organizations that you represent choose traditional or use traditional job analysis. Dale, we're also seeing after that will be competency modeling, and a short percentage is using future-oriented job analysis.
Okay, so we see a lot of organizations are still utilizing the traditional job analysis technique, but we are seeing a transition towards competency modeling, which is very good and sets a great foundation for our future discussion. So as we continue our discussion, we are looking at the challenges involved in manpower planning and doing robust job analyses within your organization. And we want to look at both global and local challenges to manpower planning. Global challenges are important because we operate within a global environment, and whatever happens within that environment impacts our organization's future success. So one of the key issues we note is increasing uncertainty in the global environment, both political, economic uncertainty. We see skill shortages in critical areas. We notice a push towards automation and artificial intelligence. So a lot of the jobs that were considered a competitive advantage for some organizations, or skills which allowed organizations to have a competitive advantage in the marketplace, those jobs are now being performed through automation, and decisions are now being made as a result of data generated through artificial intelligence. And we also see the challenge of business agility. So within the global environment, organizations also have to treat with this issue of adaptation and being relevant. Within the local environment, it's very similar. We have uncertainty. There are talent shortages in key sectors. We also have an issue of a lack of credible data, and I wanted to highlight this as a critical issue for manpower planning. Credible data within organizations as a result of data collection and data mining, as well as credible data externally in terms of your market, your external market, and labor information, whether through the CSO or credible data within industries and across sectors. So we do not have a culture of sharing data. So there's a lack of robust and credible data on manpower, talent availability, skill sets, and even the demographics of the workforce. And the issue of agility is also one that we continue to be challenged by. Why is this relevant? This is important as we look at the manpower planning process, because we are trying to, as I mentioned earlier, develop future capability for your organization. And we are utilizing a framework that says the traditional manpower job analysis process, though relevant, may be insufficient within the context of continuous change and the need for organizations to be agile. So if we look at this framework, we see that we start with our business strategy, and through identification of your talent philosophy and your strategic goals, you are able to identify what is your demand for labor and what is your supply of labor within the market, whether that market be your internal market within your organization or the external job market. But critical to conducting the forecast for demand and supply of labor are the use of robust forecasting tools. And I want to emphasize the importance of utilizing data in making decisions. So with respect to your demand for labor, you want to look at things such as return on investment and predictive analytics, which allow you to focus on future needs of the organization. Ratio analyses and trend analysis are important, but they are based on historical data. So they are lag indicators, and they operate with certain assumptions that your organizations will remain the same over time. And we are aware that that is not so in the current business environment. So though they have relevance, you really want to move from ratio analysis to more in return on investment forecasting tools that would allow you to see for every investment in talent, how would that contribute to your bottom line. On the supply side, you want to look at your talent inventories, your transition analysis, which shows how persons move within the organization, either through natural attrition or through your succession management system, which shows that we will have promotions over the next period of time. You want to look at your employee surveys, which are lead indicators, which highlight behaviors and the propensity of persons to stay within the organization. You want to look at your turnover reports, which are lag indicators, which highlight how you have been performing with respect to employee retention. And then you can utilize supply chain analysis, the same methodology that is used within your supply chain to show how persons enter the organization, move, and exit the organization. So on the demand side, there are forecasting tools that we need to use, and on the supply side, there are forecasting tools. Workforce analysis leads to identification of any gaps within your workforce, whether you have surpluses or shortages. And as a result of these, we develop action plans to treat with those gaps. I want to highlight here that shortages or surpluses do not naturally lead to reductions in your workforce. And as we go to the other elements of workforce optimization, we would see how talent is critical and how talent can be redeployed to support your business strategy. So the second poll question I would like to ask is, how often does your organization conduct a strategic manpower plan? Is it annually, every 2 to 3 years, every 4 to 5 years, or never? And if you've never conducted a plan, that's okay. We just want to get a sense of where you are in terms of utilizing this methodology to determine your talent needs.
Just proceed to choose the response that is applicable to your organization. We would leave polling open for a few seconds to give everyone an opportunity to respond. Those options again are annually, every 2 to 3 years, every 4 to 5 years, or never. How often does your organization conduct a strategic manpower plan? Yeah, I think we can end polling there.
Okay, and we are seeing that majority of persons, 39%, conduct a manpower plan annually, and we have 19% who've never conducted a manpower plan. So depending on where your organization is in its life cycle, you may be a startup organization, or you may simply be, require some guidance in terms of performing your first manpower plan. But we note that these manpower plans may be informed by a higher percentage of traditional job analysis. So we want to emphasize the need to shift our manpower planning to a competency-based model or to a future-oriented model of job analysis in conducting these strategic manpower plans. Okay, so your strategic manpower plan will identify some options for resourcing your organization, for sourcing high-performing talent, and this can be through recruitment, internal or external recruitment. It could be through reskilling or development of your staff, through outsourcing or offshoring of your operations, or through reduction of your staff. And these decisions are made within the context of timeline for resourcing your organization, the cost of obtaining high-performing talent or developing high-performing talent, and the quality of talent that you're looking for. The second issue we want to touch on is the issue of workforce agility. Your manpower planning must operate in the context of a changing environment, and your workforce capability is only relevant within the context of your business value chain. And if we remember from Porter's competitive advantage, we know that your human resource practices are all designed to support your value chain and ensuring that you deliver value to your customer. But change is inevitable and it is constant, and businesses must constantly adapt to rapid changes in your diverse customer needs. So your workforce capability and your workforce relevance is informed by your customer. It's informed by the value that you are delivering to your customer. And there are two perspectives in delivering value to customers. One is the inside-out perspective, where we develop capability inside and we push that through our value chain to our external market. And the other is the outside-in approach, where we look at our customers, we mine data, we develop analytics on our customers, and we utilize that information to inform our internal capability. Because customer needs are changing and the options to deliver on these customer needs are changing, your core competency today can become your core liability tomorrow. It can be your core agility. And therefore, your organization needs to be agile. It needs to be able to mine customer data, distill the competencies required within your organization to respond to those customer needs, and develop a workforce that is able to deliver on that in an ever-changing and dynamic environment. So your organization is agile only when your workforce is agile. And there's an emphasis on ensuring that workforce development and workforce engagement is a critical component of your workforce optimization strategy. So what are some of the benefits of workforce optimization? Well, firstly, because it integrates people, process, and technology, it gives you insight into every aspect of your business, allows the organization to identify gaps, and highlights areas for improvement. And improvement not only in processes, but more importantly, improvement in competencies that are required to be successful. It improves employee efficiency because it highlights areas which are irrelevant to the organization's survival and future capability. And it highlights areas that can be removed, areas that can be outsourced, areas that can be adapted to improve employee efficiency. It improves operational efficiency. It improves customer service and customer retention, but most importantly, increases the return on your investment because your talent allows you to develop capability and your investment in your talent allows you to be agile. What are some of the critical success factors of workforce optimization? And I'm seeing that we are running close to time, so we will wrap up. Workforce optimization operates with effective leadership and culture that enables optimization and processes and technology that support such an organization. So with respect to leadership and culture, leadership defines and aligns the organization to the core values, the value proposition, and the business strategy of the organization. And therefore, your leaders must model the abilities and behaviors expected and must drive stakeholder engagement. Your culture, however, can enable or stymie productivity, efficiency, and agility. So in order to ensure that you have an agile organization, you need to develop an agile culture that is able to retain the right competencies and focus on areas such as experimentation, risk-taking, empowerment, and collaboration. As we move into the future, we notice that the competencies that were relevant yesterday and the weight on technical competencies has shifted to more robust and relevant competencies such as diagnostic competencies, problem solving, risk-taking, collaboration. These are the competencies that are necessary for the future. Your processes and your technology. Workforce optimization is an iterative process which moves you and your employees and your customers towards higher level of engagement. So your HR policies, your processes, your tools such as your talent assessment tools, your talent development tools, your performance management system must be aligned to workforce optimization and must adapt to ensure that you can deliver on this strategy. Your monitoring, recording, and analytics must be facilitated by technology. Workforce optimization is not technology, but technology is a critical component of workforce optimization. And the right technology ensures that you are able to deliver on your strategy. So your HRIS, your data mining tools, your dashboards are important, as well as your organizational-wide processes, such as your business process management systems that were touched on the last webinar. Whether you're into TQM or any other aspect of quality management, these are also important for workforce optimization. So we conclude by stating that workforce optimization must be achieved within an uncertain global and local environment. Ambidexterity is key to the organization's survival, so you must focus both on internal efficiency and workforce agility. The current and future workforce must therefore enable organizational agility, and organizations must continually assess the skills needed to support agility and survival. Strategic manpower planning is therefore critical to enabling that competitive advantage because it allows you to define those skills, those competencies, the mindset and behavior that are necessary to ensure that you can deliver on the business strategy and support your organizational agility. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. And we will want to jump straight into the Q&A segment. Now, so one of the first questions that, so for those of you, you have any questions, if you move your mouse to the bottom of your screen, it has a little button there that says Q&A. Just use that opportunity to ask your questions of the speaker. We're going to kick off with one of the first questions. So when we did the poll, we saw that more organizations are using the traditional job analysis method. What are some of the drawbacks of using the traditional method, and why is it insufficient?
So the traditional job analysis method would have been more relevant within an environment of stability, within an environment where jobs were not changing and competencies required for jobs were not changing rapidly. So you were assessing your jobs based on known parameters for successful performance within those jobs. But the nature of work is changing. The demands of the consumer is changing. So your customer value chain has to change on an ongoing basis. And therefore the competencies needed to deliver that value chain has to be addressed, has to be distilled, and your employees need to be developed based on those competencies or recruited based on the required competencies to deliver in that value chain. So we are not saying that traditional job analysis did not have relevance, but the focus should be on future-oriented job analysis or competency modeling frameworks that will allow you to adapt your competencies and adapt your workforce to support your business strategy.
So how would one then go about transitioning to the more future-oriented methods? So, you know, I can imagine person sitting there thinking, okay, we're using the traditional method. Where do I start? What is the first thing do I change? What would you advise them? I want to be more future-oriented using the competency-based model or something. Where do I start?
Okay, so to be more future-oriented, you need to start outside in. You need to start with your customers and with changes in your customer dynamic, and let that feed within your organization. That's one. Secondly, you need to start with defining the jobs of the future that you think would be relevant to delivering that on that value chain. So, for example, you may be delivering to your customer using a CSR service that can be delivered in a different way or can be delivered with less staff focus on direct customer engagement and more employees focused on customer relations management, focused on customer analytics and mining the information from your market to determine, okay, how are my customers changing and what do my customers need? So your workforce, in terms of numbers, may not change, but the focus of your workforce and the jobs involved in delivering to your customers may change, and as a result, the competencies will change. Having defined that, you need to determine what are the competencies that are necessary. So competency definition and competency assessment would be two critical areas that we need to identify to determine how our jobs would morph in order to support our market changes. So data is key. Data, external data from your market is key, and internal data on your competencies and your people are key.
That's Dale making the plug for data analytics in organizations, which we cannot really get into today, but so hopefully for a future webinar. But we have another question coming in asking, how do you help leadership understand or grasp this new value of its human resources? Well, the person says of HR, but I guess they're thinking of talent and its components.
Well, leaders speak in a particular language. Leaders speak within the language of profitability, revenue, service levels, and consumer engagement. And therefore, HR has to speak the language of the business. So you get your leaders to understand by highlighting, for example, I identified some forecasting tools. Return on investment will allow you to highlight that if we invest in staff in this particular way, this is the return we expect to the bottom line. So return on investment or turnover reports indicate a cost to the organization. So turnover reports are not about simply about numbers, but they're about capability that's leaving the organization. They're about cost to the organization. They're about future revenue potential that is being lost. So we have to speak the language of our leaders in order for them to understand. And HR is a social science, but it is a science, and it can be converted into quantitative information.
Someone is also asking, which industries is competency modeling best suited for?
Competency modeling is applicable to all industries because there are competencies relevant to your specific operation. So it is not, there's no industry that would not benefit from competency modeling. You are seeking to identify the knowledge, the skills, the behaviors, the attitudes, and the mindsets that are necessary for optimum performance within any industry within which you operate.
And I can say from our experience that we do competency-based modeling for different types of organizations and different industries, but I will even go further to say different types of jobs. So whether the person is an engineer or they're an accountant or they're an HR person, it doesn't matter. It's about identifying both the technical competencies or the technical skills they need, as well as those behaviors that allow for success. So we would need to wrap up at this point in time. We would really like to thank Dale, and I know we have a couple other questions there, but we will try to answer them probably written or something before we log out today. So thank you, Dale, for being with us here today and for chatting about employee optimization. And Dale would have talked about performance management and measuring and collecting data. And one of those key means of collecting data in an organization about your people, about your talent, is through the performance management system. And we will be talking about continuous performance management next webinar around our theme, the year of organization design. Now, we do want to hear from you. So we are asking you to complete our evaluation form. Let us know if this webinar was relevant to you. Our speakers do this voluntarily, and we would like to give them the benefit of feedback. We would also take this opportunity to let you know that in terms of organization design, Lockjack GSP Consulting offers a range of organization design services. And on that third bullet point, strategic alignment of your processes, people, and culture is something that we do for achievement of results. And that includes your workforce planning, your job analysis, job evaluation, competency gap analysis. We do all of those things, and we have done all those things for our clients locally and regionally and further afield. Just a reminder, this is our year of organization design. Spaces are limited, so register now. Contact us at consult@lockjackgsb.edu.tt. Estrella would also be dropping the link for you to get our organization design brochure. That will give you more information about our upcoming conference on September 17th and the certificate program on September 18th and 19th. And while I don't have the slide to put up, just a plug, DLIC is happening on May 6th. And we have a special discount that you can take advantage of if you register by tomorrow. That is US $800 as opposed to the regular price of $1,000 US. So register now for DLIC. We thank you all for joining us today for Webinar Wednesdays and listening in on our discussion on employee optimization. If you need to contact us for whatever reason, you can reach out to us at consult@lockjackgsb.edu.tt. You can give us a call, or you can go to our website. The link would have been dropped in your mailbox. Thank you all for joining us today. Have a good week. Have a great Easter weekend and a safe one. Bye.